Happy Halloween. Hear those sweet little voices. All the kids are outside about to go trick or treating. So I'm going to make this short and sweet. I want to say today, I officially declare today, fuck yeah, Francine Scheller Day. Because Francine Scheller came in second place in a trail race that she YOLO'd, having only recently done 3 days at the fair. So way to go, Francine. That's kind of amazing. Please post a photo with your medal. And if you've done that already and I didn't see it, please go tag me in it so I can't miss that stuff. Thank you for letting me know. Also, a big congratulations to everyone who's out and about and having fun tonight, because I want to talk a little bit about that Halloween candy and how that sort of tie that into what I've been talking about on my personal Facebook page, which has been my health lately. So a lot of the words that I use, I know are kind of esoteric and can be hard to wrap your brain around, even if you wanted to. One of them is anti-fat bias. That sort of like we hear the word fat, our brains sort of shut down. We don't want to talk about it. But the reason this matters so much is because this whole idea of good and bad and virtuous and out of control and discipline and accountability, it's all a bunch of BS. It is terrible. And I hate it so much because it sucks the enjoyment out of the things that we do, like Halloween. This is the one time of year we got all kinds of candy around. Enjoy it. Look forward to Halloween for the candy, because, other holidays, you know what you get? Peeps. For real. I would much rather have everything that we get at Halloween than Peeps every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But the reason that kind of matters here is that we talk a lot about these things about like, I shouldn't have this, I shouldn't do this, I should resist. And the reason we feel like we shouldn't is because we tie so much of who we are and who we want to be and who we think we are to our weight. So the story that I've been living and how this ties into my health comes right back to the reason why we're all here. So no one's asked me this lately, but we have a lot of new people. We have a lot of returning people. I want to say hi to you guys. So the thing that separates my coaching from everyone else is out there trying to sell you like super magic plans that are going to make you super duper faster at the marathon pace and the magic speed work and the super workouts. And I'm sort of like, yeah, no, I need to teach you how to actually do an easy effort run and find a way to make you comfortable doing that over and over and over again, because that's the stuff that leads to real strength, to endurance, to speed, right? Because if we don't have that big, good cardiovascular base, and this is where everything starts to go wonky in brains because it's all stuff that we've heard before. So the reason for the 140 cap, I've said this before, but to make it a little more clear and to tie it into everything else, tonight we're going to talk about cortisol. So at 140, that is a good general number that for most of the population, if you're underneath that number, whatever you're doing, it's hard enough that your body considers it work so that most of the oxygen in your blood's going to your muscles to repair them as you move. But it's not so high that your body would be converting glucose for energy. Now, we've talked about that before, about your glucose stores and how you don't want to hit a wall in a marathon, et cetera, et cetera. Well, here's something else. The endocrine system, as I have learned so much about in this past 2.5 weeks, is a elaborate system of signals that are sent back and forth. And once you get in a bad feedback loop, it can be really hard to break it. And take, for example, the person who is overtraining and hits the wall. That's mostly because of the overtraining. You can't increase your glucose stores. You can only increase your body's ability to capitalize on them when you get there. And you do that with the big cardiovascular base, but that's hard to comprehend. Why am I going to pay you to teach me to run slow? Well, because here's the thing. When your body is converting glucose, it's going to be sending a signal to your brain to produce cortisol, because you're not just working, you're working hard. So by 140, we're staying safely beneath the threshold that is going to send that signal that you're working really hard and cause your body to create cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone that in those times when your body's producing too much of it, you can't seem to lose weight no matter what you do, because you're going to get a little spare tire around your belly. That's going to be cortisol, because your body is holding on to that in case you need it for energy later to run away from the dinosaur that's chasing you or whatever adaptation this is. But when that connection is true and it's real. So going harder than 140 is not going to make you faster if we're not, unless we're being real careful about how we do it with the speed work and whatnot. But this is why I don't care if you walk or shuffle. And I know to you, it can be really hard to hear that because it can feel embarrassing. We can feel like we're not doing enough. We're not working hard enough. We don't feel, what if people see me and they think I'm being lazy? So that right there can be enough to have you make a bad choice and go out there and sort of junk your miles. I don't believe in junk miles, but I do believe that you can junk your miles by producing cortisol and taking an easy day and making it hard for no good reason, for no real training benefit. And those people who are looking at you funny, they're going to look at you funny no matter what you do. You can go out and run in a tiara with wings and they're still going to give you side eye. It's like, that's who they are. It says nothing about you or what you need to be doing. So it can be really hard not to let buttholes determine your training, or even in a lot of cases, your career, who your kids play with, what you do. I get that. A lot of our lives are spent avoiding buttholes. So if we could just make this as safe a place as possible, it's going to be easy to come back over and over to this place where run feels good, where you're not producing cortisol, your body isn't freaking out, and you are not setting off that chain of events in the brain that leads to a really negative feedback loop that will actually work against you. But one of the reasons why speed work is doled out in small little bits, it's to break the muscle and repair it in the workout in a very specific way. Because when those easy effort runs, like I said, your body comes back below the threshold, then your heart rate also comes below the threshold. You are no longer using the glucose, and the oxygen in your blood is repairing your muscles while you move. If you stay in a heart rate area that's too high, that doesn't happen. Your body is just trying to keep you alive, and it's shutting down other systems in order to do that. So it's not like you're going to know, like, I'm in the danger zone when it happens, but it's like, why work harder than you have to? There's literally no benefit. Now, the reason we tend to do this, it comes back to that phrase, anti-fat bias. So the thing is that we've been taught to fear fat a lot, that it's a moral failure. I mean, how many of you were allowed to just watch TV after school? One thing if you're a latchkey kid, but as a parent, do you feel guilty about it? How much screen time are your kids getting? Are they idle? Are they playing video games too much? Are they not outside doing? Are they not running doing? Are they? We're so concerned with idle kids, with encouraging sloth and greed, that your body almost becomes a physical manifestation of you as a moral failure. And that is inane and it's insane, but it's so deeply embedded, it's hard to pull it out. So take, for example, this is what's been happening with my health. And if you can follow my personal Facebook page. I don't think these are public. These are our friends only posts. But if you train with me and we're not friends, friend me, I'll absolutely accept you. But what I've been talking about lately is what has been going on with my health and the weight gain and frankly, my inability to do a lot of the strength exercises that I've been assigning you guys. Which is absolutely showed, I think, in the strength videos over time. So what has been happening, and I've been insisting this to my doctor, like, something is off. I've gained all this weight. I have not changed my diet. I've not changed my exercise routine. Those of you who follow me on Strava can see I've been very consistent. But my body is now working against me. And I'm nervous about prediabetes. So I got on this amazing drug called metformin. And I think it's amazing because it's done wonders for me. It has not fixed everything, but it's made me feel a whole lot better than I thought it was possible to be. I'm moving at the speed of MK again. When's the last time y'all heard me talk this fast? When? I tell you, it's been a while. When's the last time I've been getting up consistently at 5:45 in the morning? It's been years. So a component of whatever's going on with me has absolutely been insulin resistance. But when I go in and I say I've gained all this weight and I don't feel good, that's not a medical concern, right? That's not a red flag. They're like, diet and exercise. And I'm like, I did the diet and I did the exercise. I'm still gaining the weight. And then they're like, oh, so if I didn't, so the high blood pressure finally and the high cholesterol combo finally got them to sort of listen and look at me differently and lead me on this road to better. Because out of one side of your mouth to say, well, weight gain's not really a medical concern. Then out the other say, but you really need to lose the weight because it can make you sick. That's kind of messed up, but that's normal, unfortunately. So I tell you that to tell you this is and I'm not trying to diss doctors specifically. It is a hard job, especially now in a pandemic. I have nothing but respect for frontline healthcare workers. I also understand a whole lot of people just lie, and that's fine. As a woman, though, who works in the spaces that I do in my spare time, I take people at their word. And even if I'm sitting in a room with people who lie to me all the time, I operate on the basis that they're telling me the truth. And I would beg any doctor who's listening, or every doctor anywhere, to do the same. Or if you can force them, sort of keep reframing in any discussion you're having with your doctor to come back to that point. Like, let's assume I'm telling the truth. Now what? Because, again, it's when you're out taking care of your body, either having a workout or at the doctor or any other part of your life, you do have to make the decision of what's going to be right for you. And some days that thing is going to be rest. More is not going to get you where you need to go. And sometimes, most of the time, I think we're finding out a lot more than we've ever wanted to admit. The problem is not laziness or sloth. It's how we feel about larger bodies. It's how we feel about fat on larger bodies. It's what signal does that send? Weight gain signals to me that you need to pick it up, get it together. That's not the signal it sends to me, but that can be the signal that is sent to a lot of people. Is it one that's being sent to you? And if so, again, just acknowledge it. And let's see if we can reframe that a little bit. Do I need to work out harder today because I ate candy yesterday? No. God, no. Enjoy the candy. Do I need to deprive myself of food today because I ate the candy yesterday? No. Absolutely not. That's anti-fat bias. That's taking away your joy. That is punishing yourself for having a good time. And that's some puritanical bullshit I really don't have time for up in here. So don't do that to yourself, please. Most of all, if you are too busy making yourself feel bad for giving your body what it needs, or going in front of people begging to be heard, then the thing that you're not going to do is push through that shame to say, no, listen to me, and get to a point where they actually do find the underlying medical problem. My next step is to rule out Cushing's. It could explain like the bright red cheeks, the weight gain, all the downy stuff on my face, all the weird things that have been happening, like all kind of fall into line, but we couldn't get there until I had the high blood pressure and high cholesterol. We couldn't even scan for that. Because at first it was just like, I'm gaining weight and I don't know why. I'm really tired and I don't know why. I can't get out of bed in the morning and this is not who I am. And everything was really easy to dismiss. Oh, you're just older. So I want you to go through the rest of this week catching yourself if you think these things. Oh, I just need to work a little harder. I just need a little more accountability. I don't need to be idle. I need to move. I spoke to one of you in office hours this week who was like, I don't know. I feel guilty. I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, you're recovering. Go do that. That is the reason you don't want to do anything is because you don't need to do anything. And that's your body telling you something. Listen to it. And if your body is telling you, hey, something is wrong, go advocate for it in your doctor's office. If your body is telling you to rest today or tomorrow, do it. And if you see candy and it looks good and you want to eat it, freaking do that too. Why not? And don't do that with the thought of, please don't do that with the thought of, I'm going to have to pick it up tomorrow. Just enjoy the candy today. And don't tie it into anything else. It doesn't say anything about you. In fact, your ability to push back on all that conditioning and just enjoy the candy and go for a slow, easy jog tomorrow, that is badass as hell. To push back against all these forces that have been telling you, sending you these messages in every possible way since the day you were born. There is nothing more rebellious or revolutionary than that. Y'all know how I feel about rebelling and pushing back against everything that tries to put a rule my way. If those rules don't serve me, I set them on fire, and I'm going to encourage you to do that this week. Just don't set your doctor on fire. Make sure they listen to you. So the only question that we really had this week, sorry to make you wait this long to get to the answer, was what is a float? And I apologize. I thought I had spelled that out in the Training Peaks box. So it should show up when the workout is emailed to you each day. But if not, again, I'm going to tonight, after I get the videos up for the strength, after I go like feed the howling little candy monkeys downstairs, I'm going to get those videos up, and then I'm going to make another Canva and try to get in front of the designer to describe a float. So a float is somewhere, it's roughly 10K pace, but hear me out what that means. So you're going to start with the jog, and then you're going to pick it up to say 5K pace, and then you're going to back off. How far do I back off? Not all the way back to a jog. This isn't a recovery. We're not looking at your heart rate and trying to bring it down. This is purely by feel. Go and hit that target and then just back off of it a little bit. So think if you're hitting fourth gear, we're going into third gear. That's it. That's what the float is. And it will literally feel like you're floating because you've just backed off of something really hard. Not enough to recover, but enough that it kind of feels good to back off and it feels like you're about to spread wings and fly. So it's not a fixed idea. If we're going up to half marathon pace, then a float's going to be just a tick slower than that. And sure, it can end up being roughly marathon pace, but we're not fussed about it. All we're about is slow down just a little. Slow down just a little, because that whole point of trying to hit the pace and then slow down just a little, that is how we figure out where our gears are. And that teaches us how to use our bodies and how to use our energy efficiently in the next race. So that if you say wake up one day and your friends are like, oh, the New York City Marathon, we're going to run it today. I forgot to tell you, we entered you in it so that we can all go and run it together next year. You can show up. Don't advise this, by the way. I was not trained enough and I'm going to be like hobbling around tonight. But you can show up then and sort of feel your way through it with jog and then a float. We're going to do this for a bit and then back off for a bit and do this for a bit and back off for a bit. And with the float, you can get through absolutely anything. Now, your easy effort pace, you could do theoretically all day long without stopping. But a float is a really great way to keep a faster pace that you don't love going. So not specifically in a marathon situation, though I did float a whole lot yesterday. If you look at my training, if you look at my Strava data, but it works really, really, really well in a 10K or a 5K, which again, a 5K doesn't sound long relative to the marathon, but that's still 30 plus minutes of running, you guys. 30 plus minutes of hard running. Who wants to do that? Not me. That's why I don't do 5Ks, but some of y'all do. And that's why I don't do 10Ks, but some of y'all do. And I'm with you for that. So a float is a really great strategy once you've learned how to do it to get through a 10K or to get through a 5K, to keep that artificially fast pace going, to get a finish time that might be a little bit faster. Because if we don't go so hard that we have to walk, we can go hard enough that we think, is this sustainable? I don't know. And then float. And that float can be what saves you in a short distance. So that's why we're going to learn how to do it this month. So I will have all of that in fewer words, much more easy to understand, put in a Canva tile, and then we'll release it on Instagram, and I'll try to email it to everyone as soon as we get the designer to grab it and make it look pretty too. If there are no further questions, happy Fuck Yeah Fran Day. You're coached. You are loved. Go eat the candy, because you see, if you stress out about it, that's going to make more cortisol and spit more cortisol into your system. And we don't need more of that because it does you no good whatsoever. And once you've gleaned onto that and you're enjoying the candy, I swear to God, you're winning at life. Have a great week. And come see me in office hours. I've got lots of open office hour slots this week.